In our vast cosmos, mysteries abound, often transcending the realm of our understanding, sparking intrigue and debate. One such enigma that has etched itself into human consciousness is the phenomenon of unidentified flying objects or UFOs. Strap in as we journey into the unknown, embarking on a thrilling exploration of the 6 most riveting UFO sightings ever reported. Kaikoura Lights. A series of sightings occurred in 1978 above the Kaikoura mountain ranges of New Zealand. On the 21st of December, a flight crew observed strange lights around their aircraft, which appeared to be tracking them. The objects were picked up by air traffic control in Wellington and Christchurch, as well as the aircraft's onboard radar. They also encountered a massive lighted orb which tracked them for almost 15 minutes. The orb was filmed, watched, and tracked by radar. After the sightings, the Royal New Zealand Air Force, Police, and Carter Observatory joined forces in the investigation of the matter. Its results were lodged in Wellington's National Archives. The Ministry of Defense claimed the lights were unburned meteors, squid boat lights, or the planet Venus. Mysteriously and creepily, 2 months earlier, Frederick Valentich was flying a light aircraft off the coast of Australia when he reported seeing lights of a similar nature and ultimately, via radio, said, "It is hovering and it's not an aircraft." After 17 seconds of a metallic scraping sound, the radio went dead. Valentich and his aircraft vanished into thin air. A time-lapse camera was running 20 minutes earlier on a nearby beach to photograph the sunset. When the film was developed, it captured a large object rapidly exiting the sea and moving into the sky at a rapid pace. Rendlesham Forest Incident. In December of 1980, a group of U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at a nearby airbase reported seeing strange lights in Rendlesham Forest, England. Upon investigating, they claimed to have seen an unidentified flying object. The incident has been widely debated and speculated, with some dismissing it as a hoax or misunderstanding, and others believing it to be a genuine encounter with extraterrestrial life. Despite the controversy, several pieces of evidence suggest something unusual occurred in Rendlesham Forest that night. The U.S. Air Force personnel's eyewitness accounts are consistent and detailed, with physical evidence from radiation readings and strange markings on nearby trees. Witnesses described the lights as unusual and unlike any aircraft, leading them to follow the lights and see a large, oval-shaped object hovering in the trees emitting a bright light. The object was about the size of a house. The Rendlesham Forest UFO sighting remains one of the most intriguing cases of its kind, fascinating people worldwide. Whether or not it was a genuine encounter with aliens, something unexplained happened in the forest that night, and it is a mystery that may never be fully solved. The JAL Flight 1628 incident. On the November 17, 1986, the entire crew of a Japanese cargo plane noticed 2 unidentified objects to their left in the air above Alaska. The 2 objects followed the cargo plane so closely that the crew at one stage even felt the warmth of the object's light on their faces. The first 2 objects dropped away when a third, larger, unidentified object arrived, at which point in time the pilots requested a change of course. The FAA noticed the objects on their radar and gave the crew a directive to evade the unidentified crafts. But even after making many distinct turns and dropping over 4,000 feet, the object continued to trail the cargo plane for 400 miles. On the 19th of November, the crew was interviewed by the FAA, who concluded that the crew was rational, normal, and professional. During the same year, the pilot was grounded and moved to a desk job after he confirmed the crew saw UFOs during a press interview. The unidentified object was also seen by a U.S. Air Force jet on January 30, 1987. Kenneth Arnold UFO sighting. In 1947, private pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing peculiar, high-speed objects flying near Mount Rainier, Washington. This encounter is regarded as the first widely reported UFO sighting, garnering worldwide attention and triggering numerous similar accounts of flying saucers across the United States. While on a business trip in a Calera 2, Arnold learned of a $5,000 reward for discovering a Marine Corps C-46 transport airplane that had crashed near Mount Rainier. He decided to make a brief detour and search for it. The weather was clear and the wind was mild. A few minutes before 3 p.m., at about 9,200 feet in altitude in near Mineral, Washington, he gave up his search and started heading eastward toward Yakima. It was then that he spotted a bright flashing light, similar to sunlight reflecting off a mirror. Arnold estimated that the 9 objects were moving at least 1,200 miles per hour, twice the speed of any known aircraft. He described them as disc-shaped, with a diameter of about 25 to 50 feet, and metallic in appearance. The objects were moving in a V formation and changing direction erratically, giving Arnold an eerie feeling. The Air Force investigated Arnold's sightings but could not identify the objects. They concluded that the objects were likely weather balloons or other human-made objects, but Arnold and other witnesses insisted they were something else. The Tic Tac Incident. On November 14, 2004, the U.S. Navy witnessed an unusual encounter that would later be known as the Tic Tac UFO Incident. The incident happened while the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group was conducting training exercises off the coast of Southern California. The incident started when the USS Princeton, a cruiser equipped with the advanced Aegis radar system, detected multiple unidentified flying objects moving at incredible speeds. The objects were whitish, 40 feet long, and shaped like tic-tacs that would appear 80,000 feet up, descend toward the ocean, then hover at 20,000 feet before dropping out of radar range or blasting back up. 2 Super Hornet fighter jets were dispatched to intercept the objects. The pilots reported that the objects had no visible means of propulsion and could accelerate and change direction instantaneously. The objects disappeared before the pilots could get a closer look. The incident sparked debate among military and government officials, with some suggesting that the objects were of extraterrestrial origin. The Tic Tac UFO incident remains one of history's most intriguing and controversial UFO sightings. Belgian UFO wave. On the evening of the March 30, 1990, the Control Reporting Center at Glans Radar confirmed triangular objects in the sky above Belgium. After receiving a second radar confirmation, 2 F-16 jets were scrambled to intercept. For more than an hour, the F-16s tried to intercept. On 3 occasions, they even obtained radar lock, but every time the objects would change their position or accelerate so fast that the locks were broken. During the first radar lock, the object accelerated from 150 miles per hour to more than 1,100 per hour, while changing altitude from 9,000 feet to 5,000 feet and back up to 11,000 feet in less than 2 seconds. These changes in altitude at the speeds reported would have been fatal to any human pilot. During the whole time, more than 13,000 people witnessed the unfolding drama from the ground. After a little more than an hour, the objects disappeared from the various radar screens and the F-16s returned to base.